It's lucky the video cut out as I was coughing and all that. Basically edited it himself and stopped the video. So I put up the first part one. I was gonna edit this one and put up the part two. Salakia, just finish this out anyway. It says, back in Joel 20 and 15, he have swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. It says, the Most High shall cast them out of his belly. Yeah, so everything these devils have stolen, they're going to cough it back up, man. And this is back in Psalm 73. It says in verse 7, it says, their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than the heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully, yeah, because they haven't gone through oppression, man, as a people, man. They haven't suffered, man. They haven't had to work a day in their life, man. I'm talking about the wicked elite, especially the banking elite. You know, since the 1700s, these devils have been in power, man. You know, that's a long ass time, man. From generation to generation, just living in, you know, wealth and passing that substance onto their babes. I said I was going to read that precept. I'll read that next. You know, so they're the corrupt, because they're the ones that made the world the way it is now. All these, you know, forced this monetary system that they got. You know, with the paperback system that's backed by nothing. They've taken away the gold and the intrinsic value, you know, that the money system's supposed to have, and they replaced it with a dollar note, which is nothing but a measuring tool. So it's not worth nothing, man. But this is what they've made the whole earth believe in, you know. But while they're hoarding all the gold and silver and all the different precious stones and gems in their vaults and shit, man, because they're corrupt. They're the corrupt, man. Because they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. They're very proud, and concerning oppression, they're not concerned with the poor. All they're concerned with is being rich and staying rich. You know, that's why they practice something called capitalism, because it's about having debts. You need debt slaves to basically become, you know, a capitalist society. You need to have a lot of people engrossed in large amounts of debt. That thick clay, like it tells you in Habakkuk, like batya in the Hebrew, which means thick clay, thick debt, heavy laden debt, which the whole of America is incorporated right now. But these devils are still speaking proudly and speak lawfully concerning oppression, because they're not the ones suffering, man. You know, this is where the tariff and trade deals is going on right now. The people that's going to suffer the most are the, you know, the population, the civilians, man, so to speak. Not necessarily the rich. The rich are not going to be affected, but the poor are definitely going to be affected, because they're going to have to deal with all the skyrocketing, hyperinflated prices that's going to be coming up. You know, because these devils are corrupt, and it's a fucked up market. Excuse my French. So let me get Psalms. Got two more precepts here anyway, but let me get Psalms. Psalms 17, real quick. Oh. You know, because most people, most jakes that come into this thing are not. 17. You know, there's many more points in like 14, 15, right? So Psalm 17 and 14 says, I'll read from 13. Arise, O Lord, and disappoint him. Cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So that's another example there, showing you who the seed of the wicked is. Because the wicked is of the sword of the Lord on the left-hand side, which is who? The so-called white man. How do we know that? Because what was the blessing that Esau received from the Lord, you know, from his father Isaac, which is our Lord and Savior Yahushua in reincarnation? You know, he gave him the blessing that he's living out today. He gave him the blessing of the sword. A great sword was given unto that red horse, right? Which represents who? Esau, Edom, the red people of the earth. Edom in the Hebrew is Adawan, which means red. It says, and he was given a great power to take over the earth and had a great sword. So the Esau is the sword of the Lord on the left-hand side, man. Used as a punishment tool, whooping tool, so to speak, to punish, you know, basically us, the children of Israel, because we went off, we strayed away from the Lord, you know. So the Lord used our worst enemy to come up against us, man, the basis of men. Who better than our paternal, fraternal twin brother, seed of the wicked Esau, Edom, man? Because we came out of the same loins, but two nations were separated from the bowels of our mother, which is Rebecca, man, from our seed of Isaac. This is arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So they're the seed of the wicked. Another example, it says, from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from the men of the world, which have their portion in this life. Yeah, they have their portion. I mean, they're living it. They're living it up, so to speak, living their best lives. It says, in whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. It says, they are full of children, and they leave their substance, and they leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Like this guy here, Charles, because he was back in when his mother was alive. Queen Lizzie. That demon, Queen Lizzie II, when she was still alive, she was the, one in the horse rides the seat, so to speak. She was the one in this, leading the country, so to speak, the Queen Lizzie and all that. So she was that one that, basically left her substance onto her babe, which is, King Charles and all of that, man. And if he dies or drops dead, he'll leave his substance onto his two sons, and so on and so forth. It trickles on down. So that's why he's gone from 30 million to nearly just a bit under, just nearly over, just over half nearly half of a billion, man. Over 500 million, which is half of a billion. He's just gone over that quota. And he's probably going to accumulate more if these devils was to continue to rule. But their shit's going to be cut short. As the first precept, the triumph for the wicked is short. They drive the hypocrite but for a moment, man. The Lord going to cut all this shit short, man. These devils are going to enjoy these riches for the last days. So this is they, and they leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Yeah, like Queen Lizzie left her substance to her King Charles, so to speak. And he took over the throne. Because back then he was known as Prince Charles, now he's King Charles. So let me read these last two precepts and then close out. Jeremiah 50:11. This is how these devils made themselves rich. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. Who's that talking about? The Edomites. How did they become rich? Through the transatlantic slave trade. From beating the nationality out of the true Hebrew Israelites and calling themselves, all these derogatory terms, West Africans and Jamaicans, African American, Haitian, and so on and so forth. And really, they're from the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, all the way down to Issachar, man, the Mexicans, so to speak, which is the tribe of Issachar. Gad, Reuben, which are the Native American Indians, Seminole Indians. Those are original Hebrew names, man, from the Bible. But this devil stole our heritage and took it upon himself. And now they're running around saying that they're the true chosen people of the Lord. They're the Jews, so to speak. But really, they're of the synagogue of Satan. And they made themselves fat through that transatlantic slave trade because it was nothing but free labor. It was free labor for these devils. So they didn't even have to pay their slaves. It says, "Oh, you destroyers of mine heritage, because you are grown fat as the heifer." Yeah, Jake was the cash cow, and then America became that cash cow because that's how America became great. It says, "As grown as fat as the heifer at grass and bellows as bulls." Yeah, so these devils made their licks, so to speak, off the backs of our downfall, man. The children of Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, which are the true Israelites of the Bible, man. That's how these devils made their lick. And more so, even more so through Great Britain, because that's why it talks about their mother being so confounded, because that's how America was birthed, through Great Britain, through the transatlantic slave trade. So-called gained their independence, even though they're still owned to them, by the British. They like the president has to answer to the King of England and all that, and especially the banking elite. Because they still own them. They still own the 13 colonies of America, so to speak. You know, um, so it's madness, man. But this is how these devils made themselves rich. So they got a lot of hell to catch, man. A lot of vomiting they're gonna be doing. You know. It says Ecclesiastes 9:12. It says, "For man also knoweth." So man also knoweth not his time. Yeah, these devils ain't counting the time. They think that their kingdom is gonna go on forever. It says, "As the fishes that are taken in the evil net." It says, "And as the birds that are caught in a snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time." Where evil time means a bad time, man. Evil means bad. So these devils are snared in the evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. Yeah. So that's why it says, not, all of a sudden, the Lord won't come as a thief in the night. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. They're about to fill their belly, so to speak. That's when the Lord's going to pull the plug on their whole new world order. They're going to lose everything. And they're going to go into straight hardcore slavery for 1,000 years. So these devils are free, man. The sons of men are snared in an evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. Yeah, all of a sudden. So suddenly all great riches have come to naught, as it tells you in the book of Revelation. Talking about America, how it's going to go from what it is now, that great merchant city, to basically a pile of nothing but rubble and stubble when the Lord drops the nuclear missiles on it, man. Why? Because that's the punishment and judgment of the Lord upon the wicked, So anyway, with that, we'll close out. Hopefully, brothers is edified. I give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bar Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bar Hashem, Chakodash. Salaki for the video cutting out part 2 to the end of this video. So hopefully, brothers is edified. Until next time, I'll say shalom.